All right, so I'm doing a live reading of a blog post here. Weekly recall hero bands from Gavin Winter. As you know, Gavin's always in the chat talking about Overwatch, really passionate about the game, so it can be really, really cool to see. He says, welcome to Weekly Recall. It's our new blog series in which we'll spotlight a topic close to our developers' hearts, including details on some of the latest changes to quick play, competitive, and stadium. Expect data deep dives, design breakdowns, and surprises along the way. Gavin's helping to kick things off with a look into hero ban data. Who's getting the ban hammer dropped on the team or on them, and what does that mean? Find out below. First of all, that's great. To have a weekly recall now to talk about some of these details that I think people really like. More data, the better for me. I'm not saying like I'm, I love seeing all the data in the world, but I do love having this because we don't have a ton in Overwatch. So I'm glad to have that. I'm looking forward to it. Says, hey everyone, as we're halfway through season 16, I want to dive into hero bands data from the last couple weeks provided by our global insights team and server engineers. Seeing how you all have approached hero bands so far across different platforms, regions, and rankings has been incredibly fun. Are you ready to geek out over some numbers with me? Yeah, Gavin, I'm ready to geek out. With the data only split by platform, the first graph is PC and the second graph is all console. So now chat, if you're wondering what you're seeing right here, this is a graph. How do I know this? Because it's a graph, okay? So I hope that was very helpful. First of all, PC bans across all ranks. Holy crap. Hey, Chad, does anybody here like playing against Sombra? Does anybody here like playing against Sombra? Because Sombra has an 80, I want to say what, 85%? It looks like. Oh, it says right here, 85%. Sombra is banned 85% of the time. Holy crap. That is unreal. And just to talk about that, I don't think like making Sombra like worse and worse is gonna be what's gonna get people to stop banning Sombra. I think it's gonna be like when they do another type of rework or like something that makes it not as oppressive for people. I think that's what's gonna happen. Freya's at like what, 20? So the top three bans are Sombra, Freya, and Pharah. And then Widow, Genji is your top five to circle that out. So I'm kind of surprised by that. Pharah, Widow, Genji. You know, it's crazy to me that Genji gets banned so much because I know this is like every rank's different and obviously this is across all ranks, but Genji being that high up is very surprising. And then Tracer, you know, kind of towards the top. Sojourn. Sim is banned that much? Holy crap. This is why I love seeing this. I did not think Sim would be that far up. May, Cassidy, Venture, Torb. This is going in order of like from highest to lowest in ban. Junkrat, Ashe, Bastion, Soldier, Hanzo, Echo. So it looks like Hanzo and Echo are not banned at all for the most part. Then for tanks, Zarya is the #1 ban, sitting around 59%. How do I know that? I'm pretty smart, chat. AKA, I was able to scroll down and read the 59% there. And then Doomfist at 43%. What? Wow. And then Wrecking Ball's banned that much. I have to assume that Wrecking Ball being banned is because a lot of players, when you see your Wrecking Ball, they're usually playing pinball and not actually playing the way that you want them to play. But Doom, I could feel the unfun to play against aspect of that probably, right? So I guess the Zarya one I'm not surprised by. And then Diva at #4, I get that. Defense Matrix can be annoying, especially for hit scan. Orissa's played a lot, even though with a low win rate. Winston, Mauga, Hog, Ramatra, kind of all around the same area. Then your least 4 ban tanks are Hazard, Rhine. Very surprised by Rhine, because Rhine's like one of the best win rate tanks, but all people like playing with a Rhine. I'm not surprised. I mean, it's more like people like playing with a Rhine. Sigma, and then Junker Queen, barely banned. So that's interesting. Then on to the supports. Ana comes in at the most banned. And then Mercy, and then Moira. So Moira, it looks like Mercy's ban rate is a little bit below 20%, which is probably, I'm glad that it's not up there with Sombra's ban rate, because I know that was a problem at the beginning of that, so it seems like it's kind of toned down a bit. But Ana, it's that Ana grenade, isn't it? Moira at #3, I think that's more of like the play style. Some players like, you want my take on Moira? If you have a Moira who balances healing and damage, gonna carry a lot of games. Problem is a lot of players feed into one play style, and that's where people run into that issue. Like the only flank Moira going for damage, or the only heal Moira, and I think that can kind of cause some problems there. Zenyatta at #4, that's just because of Discord Orb. Kiriko kind of in the middle. I'm surprised by that. Kiriko's like, I guess because of cleanse if you're playing like Queen or something. Lifeweaver. I guess these are all like Lifeweaver, Brig, Juno, Lucio, Ayari, and Bap are barely banned. So there you go. There's that. So we knew Sombra would be banned a lot, but that's crazy. So it's like, this data is just showing that like the most banned hero by far is Sombra, and it's not even close. Like it's not even a close second, because like it's 85% then to 59%. Like that is That is a huge difference. So Sombra leads the PC pack with an impressive 85% ban rate, followed by Zarya at 59% and Doomfist at 43%. On consoles, Sombra is banned even more with a 93% ban rate. She's followed by Zarya at 57% and Symmetra at 23%. Holy crap, 93% on consoles. Out of curiosity now, for any console players in the chat, have you played against the Sombra yet this season? Since hero bans? Like, have you actually played against the Sombra yet? Once? No? I'm like, oh no, twice? Megan's twice? I like how Megan's here and she's just watching. I love that. One time, 93% though. That's crazy. Like, the only thing I get from this is like, they need to like, I hate to say it, but they probably have to like do a rework, right? Because you could sit there, like, I know in the recent patch they mentioned like, hey, like, you know, Sombra's frustrating to play against, here's a nerf, but I don't know if that's going to drive the numbers down because the playstyle's still the same, right? Like, the playstyle's still the same, so there needs to be something else there. And believe it or not, like, if you look at Widowmaker now, you notice how they made Widowmaker a little bit more like a mini Soldier 76 on certain maps? Like, they might have to find a way to make Sombra, like, just not as oppressive to play against, even if like, the hero isn't, like, what you would consider S tier. So, those numbers are, like, crazy there. And then, obviously, like, we look at the rest here. Symmetra being banned a ton as number 2. Symmetra, Wrecking Ball. D.Va's banned more on console, but we figured that because D.Va has the highest stadium win rate. And then on console, Mercy's the most banned. Huh. I mean, I know on... Wow, I'm surprised. So it kind of flips. Like, Mercy's the most banned, Moira's in the middle, and then Ana. So that's very interesting. Very interesting data here. I'm not going to go too deep dive into this, but, like, wow. A lot of different of things there. So on PC... Our newest hero is dashing through the wind to catch up with the pack, earning a 27% ban rate. Freya's ban rate day by day is climbing steadily. So apparently Freya at the beginning was at about 9% and is now all the way on PC up to over 40%. So Freya is joining the fray. Okay. She's remained at a pretty low ban rate on console, though. Apparently on console, Freya ain't doing well, so... You know? So yeah, on console, you know what? You don't want to know why Freya's not banned on console? Because everybody's just banned Sombra and that's it. That's the only ban they hit. They just hit Sombra and then they just hit ready. That's it. Like that's where it stops. The least banned hero on PC is Baptiste at 0.16%, and the least banned hero on console is Hanzo at 0.24. Kind of makes sense that they've been trying to like give some Hanzo some buffs and Bap some buffs. There are some big differences based on rank. Here's what graphs look like for PC at Masters and above. So at Masters and above, Freya's just absolutely dominating that. Sombra's a little bit up there too. I'm surprised by a above 40% Sombra. I'll be real with you. Dealing with Sombra in like Masters Plus isn't as difficult, but so I'm surprised that it's like that high up there. But I get it though. Sometimes like as a support player, if your teammates aren't going to help you, why would you want to keep the Sombra on the field when like your teammates aren't going to help you and you can't help yourself sometimes against the back line? You need help. So I get that too. Like this feels like you just don't want to deal with the type of situation. And then Pharah, Widow, Sojourn, and then everything kind of tapers off after that. So I'm not surprised. D.Va is the #1 ban. You know, I'm surprised, but I think it's because there's a lot of like hit scans in Masters. So my guess is that is just the best bet. Yeah. So D.Va's the most banned, and then followed by Zarya. But kind of a stark difference here, like around 60% for D.Va, and then Wrecking Ball, Doom, Orisa, and then kind of goes all the way down again to what we saw before. And then Ana again, banned the most, followed up by Zenyatta. Not surprised, Zenyatta, Discord Orb, players can dominate. Mercy at number 3, but like below 20%. You want my take on that? I don't mind having a Mercy in my game at all. Like a lot of the time, when I'm playing in a game and I have a Mercy damage boost in a Freya, or a Sojourn, or an Ashe, and all I need to do is play behind a wall and they're dominated, hey, I'm fine with that. And then it kind of tapers off a little bit with like Brig, Kiriko, and then it gets a lot lower after that. So there you go. And then console bans on Masters Plus. No one on console wants to play with a Sombra. Right below the 80% mark, it's Sombra again. It just ain't happening. It just ain't happening. Now, Widow and Sojourn being banned at number 2 and 3, I think this happens, and correct me if I'm wrong, I think because of Zim that happens. Is that correct? Like players, like there's players who, a lot of hit scan players who just use that, and like you just don't want to deal with that, right? Because they can just dominate and take over games. That's what I've heard from people in chat. Obviously, that's not going to be the case. There's going to be some unreal console widows on a controller, but I have heard that feedback from people. And then Tracer. So yeah, all the heroes that get banned there, that makes sense for that. Zarya is the #1 banned. Not surprised. Actually, Zarya is way ahead of the pack on console. And then followed by Wrecking Ball, Diva, Mauga, and then it kind of tapers off. And then Mercy, oh, you know what? Mercy being banned this much probably correlates to what we just talked about. Because the Mercy damage boost in the hit scans can become a problem. That's why. This isn't like oh, I just want to ban Mercy to ban Mercy. I think this is because the Mercy, like, I think the Mercy is just helps the hit scan, so you basically kind of eliminate that, like, from being a possibility. I don't think that's like you're just doing that, so yeah. There you go. Okay, so here we go. Sombra is banned. By the way, this is just a little early feedback on this. This is great information. Keep this up. This is the stuff people want to see. We've lacked this in Overwatch for 9 years, so I'm very glad Blizzard's changing their tone on this. I think this is really cool. Seriously, this is awesome. On the console plus chart is messed up. You're fixing. No worries. Sombra is banned more often by console players, even at the highest ranks, but she isn't as highly regarded on PC. While overall Zarya is the most banned tank, when we look at Masters and above, Diva handily steals the most banned slot for tanks for both console and PC Ana. Oh, and PC Ana is the most banned support hero at the high ranks of PC, while Mercy is the most banned hero on console. Zenyatta also sees a lot more bans on PC than he does on console. That's because Discord Orb, I mean, straight up. How do hero bans look in different regions? The following charts show the rates for Masters roll queue, where the biggest difference, and also Nico, thanks for the Prime sub, thank you, where the biggest difference appear when we have the largest population of high MMR players. Wait a second. Every region has the same most banned. I thought they were saying that, like, you know, certain regions aren't as popping off as much. Every region has the same most banned hero in each role, Freya, Diva, Ana, but there is some nuance. EU and US worry about Mercy and Wrecking Ball, but Korea mostly ignores them. Korea bans are much more polarized, where fewer heroes get a majority of the bans. The US and EU ban Soju pretty often, while she's ignored in KR, so Korea. Also, Tree, thanks for the 2 months of the tier 1. Thank you, I appreciate that. So in Korea region Masters, it looks like Freya and then Sombra again, and then I'm just gonna go top 2 now, chat. Well, I'll go top 3. So Freya, Sombra, Pharah are top 3 banned, and then Diva, Zarya, Doomfist top 3, and then Ana, Zen, Brig. Actually, if you look at this in Korea chat, Mercy is, I want to say, like below 1% ban rate, like below a 1% ban rate, like barely even banned. So there you go. And then in Europe, Freya is at the top there, and then it goes. Actually, Sombra's not banned much in Europe. It goes Freya, Pharah, then Sombra, but like a much lower percentage. Then Diva, Wrecking Ball, Zarya, and then Ana, Mercy, Zen. Yeah, definitely different. Definitely different there. And then in America region, Freya, Widow, Pharah, Sombra, top 4 because they're very close. And then Diva, Zarya, Wrecking Ball, Orisa, Ramatra, Doom are all kind of close there. And then Ana, Mercy, Zen. Yeah, a lot of damage boost. What I'm seeing here, if you look at the top 3 bans with the Mercy, Ana, Zen, a lot of that is damage boost, right? It's like it's getting rid of that damage boost aspect. Ana has nano and anti-grenade. Mercy has damage boost. Zenyatta has damage boost. So damage boost can really create a lot of breakpoints, which can be frustrating. Another important factor to consider with hero bans is that the players don't just ban different heroes at different ranks. They also ban different numbers of unique heroes based on rank. There's more alignment between players about which heroes should be banned at higher ranks. At Grandmaster, the average team tries to ban 4 heroes. At Bronze, the average team tries to ban 6. The damage roll has the most disagreement upon heroes to ban, followed by tank and then support. At Grandmaster, all 3 roles have very similar ban rates, which aligns with data we've discussed in the past that imply that all 3 roles have very similar impact at the highest ranks. So the ban variance by ranked there's a lot of stuff here. So is this like the role, like how many heroes are banned in each section? So basically, like, wow. So yeah, in Bronze, it's just like, it's a variety of 6 heroes all the way through, all the way down Grandmaster, and then I can see that. Dude, this right here looks like people are like, hey, can you draw me something? This is what I draw right here. This is what my artistic skills are right here. See this box? Can you see this? That's me. That's how I draw, okay? I just want to point that out. That's what you get, all right? You know what? And it's Grandmaster Plus, so it's only fitting, right? Right where I'm at. That's your signature? Yeah, there you go. You've seen the thumbnails? Oh, yeah, true, you have. We know that one of the biggest questions you'll have is, now that we have all this data, what do we plan to do with it? In talking to our hero designers, they explained that they found the data we've collected so far very interesting and will be using it in the future to help inform balance changes. Heroes that are more niche or map specific may need to become more generalized if they're always banned where they perform well. Widowmaker's an example of that. We just saw that change. Heroes that are very unpopular might see more adjustments regardless of performance. Ultimately, though, there aren't any specific changes in the works based on this data yet, and the hero ban data alone would never dictate how heroes are balanced. Again, though, I do think they really need to look at Sombra because there are probably Sombra players who would like to play the hero in ranked. I just want to point that out. Like, they need to find some type of balance with that hero where players don't want to just massively ban the hero. I mean, we saw the data. Like, that is a high ban number, okay? And that's a hero that's not even meta. Keep that in mind. That's a hero that's not meta. That hero, it's not because the hero is S tier like Freya. That hero is getting banned for other reasons. So, speaking to the system itself, we're happy with how it works overall. We believe the system is meeting most of its goals, and we're excited to see how hero bans evolve over time, especially once we start releasing more data about our hero win rates and pick rates in the future. I love to hear that. More data. Thank you, Gavin. One way that we're considering changing the system is to add a feature to preferred hero that will allow to act as a tiebreaker. Okay, so this is interesting. Around 42% of all games since we launched the feature have had 7 or 5 vote ties. A player's first choice is worth 7 votes, and a player's second choice is worth 5 votes. That means it's common for multiple players to be voting for different heroes and for us to have to break ties randomly, which isn't awesome. As you can also infer from the ban variance data above, that's a lot more common at lower ranks where there's less alignment about who to vote on. So the feature we're considering adding is making each preferred hero choice worth 1 negative vote. And I actually brought this idea up too at one point on stream, if your chat remembers. So what you're saying is that because 42% of the games have a tiebreaker, this could allow for some of the overbanned heroes. So like, let's say that like you say your preferred hero is Mercy, and there's a tiebreaker vote there, but you are able to bring that down. That means Mercy, you'll be able to play Mercy, and that will do that. And that puts a little bit of weight to the preferred hero choice. An example of where that may not happen is like with Sombra, with that many bans. I don't think that might change that, but that seems like a pretty good in between. Again, we need to see it kind of in actuality and see if it fixes that. But if you were to ask me like, hey, like what are my thoughts on hero bans so far? My experience so far with hero bans has been pretty good. Now, again, I want to reiterate, I'm lucky in the sense of like where my hero pool's at. You know, like I haven't had a bunch of my heroes banned like all the time, things like that in general. So I totally get like where the pain of that is. So hopefully that we can figure some things out. They're doing a tournament in the background there. They can figure some things out for the middle ground. But you know what? I think this is a pretty good change. I'm actually okay with this, and I'm curious to see if this is implemented, if it helps a little bit. All right. 1 vote isn't much since each player technically has 15 votes. If you total all 3 choices, this will mean that if multiple heroes are tied for a ban, the hero that isn't preferred by any players will be banned. So for example, if it's tied between Mercy and Cassidy, and the Mercy is preferred, the Cassidy would be banned. This negative vote would never count twice, such as if 2 damage players preferred Widowmaker, these negative votes would also never apply to the other team's vote. So okay, let us know what you think of this idea, and keep sending us all your feedback on hero bans. Truthfully, I'm okay with this right now. I think like if we're looking at like the surface level of it, this is a good idea and kind of a good middle ground. Again, worst comes to worst, they try this, it doesn't work. If you haven't noticed with Blizzard now, and anybody who has, you know, say you're watching this video right now, the way they communicate now and the way they make changes aggressively is way better than it ever has been. Like the Overwatch has been so fun to me. And if this doesn't work, they're going to go change it again. They're not, it used to be, it felt like they would, once something was in the game, it was, no, we made it that way, we're keeping it that way. Now it feels like they're like, yeah, people don't like this, let's just go change it. We're not going to sit here and try to force this if people don't like it. And that is cool. So I've enjoyed hero bans because it's made my gameplay experience better. Like, for example, I play Diva, I can ban Zarya. But there's obviously been some issues that they're trying to fix, and I'm glad to see that. Systems like hero bans and our upcoming map voting feature, which launches in Season 17, excited for that, are constantly improved by your feedback because we are making a great game together. I see that. Also, don't forget to check out our next drive starting on June the 19th. There you go. Drives are on the 19th of June. If you're still reading after surviving this tsunami of data, may your wins always be uphill battles and your losses consolations. And you know, to summarize the video you're going to see here, I told Gavin in chat one day that he needed to have a sign-off. Gavin found his sign-off. Yep. Remember we had that discussion in chat? I'm like, listen, Aaron has his thing. Gavin needs his. And Gavin found it. I love it, Gavin. Good job. Great blog post. I'm excited to see more of these. You did a excellent job across the board. Thank you for this data. Okay, chat, this is a patch note too. Reduced income from damage and healing by 25% for Freya. So Freya will not be able to scale as well now into early rounds. That's the concern. Like, and Dylan, while you're here too, like even like the builds themselves, I think it's just more about the early round. That's something I kind of gave feedback-wise earlier. And you probably remember that. It's like, it's about making these heroes not like early game be able to become so ridiculous by like round 2. Because the idea is that you grow your character over time. So I think sometimes that's what it is. Yeah, exactly. Pace it. And I think that's more of what like needs to be adjusted, like across the board with that stuff, because you don't want to like, yes, exactly. And you don't want to kill builds, right? Like the idea behind, and I don't know if you've ever seen the movie Kill Builds. It's a great movie, but like you obviously want to have fun builds. So the idea is like make it so they just kind of scale differently, right? And there you go. There's your Hero Bands blog. If you like the video, hit the like button, subscribe to the YouTube. If you haven't, leave a comment. All that helps. If you want to watch more of my videos, there's a box right here. Click that link. Hope you all have an amazing day / night.